Okay, since we're live, thanks and welcome everyone to the BlockX AMA, the second AMA, 2nd of December after the last November AMA. And I'm really glad to introduce you our head of blockchain, Benjamin Pacheco, and director of investments at Keller. As you may have noticed as well, we do have Manindra, our CEO from the last AMA, already introduced it. So guys, if you can just give a warm welcome to our community. Benjamin or Sab, who wants to start? I give you the word.
Oh, sure. Benjamin, you want to go ahead first?
Yes. Hi. So let me see. Okay. Oh, by the way, are we going to start with the questions already? Or yeah. So basically, I'm Benjamin Pacheco. I've been working with Tokenizer for a year already, and I'm heading the blockchain team and mostly the technical side of things for the Tokenizer.
Okay, great.
That's
So
great.
I'm the director of business development and investments at Tokenizer and BlockX. We'll get into Tokenizer a bit later, but BlockX is the layer one solution for Tokenizer. Um, I've been with Tokenizer and BlockX for almost a year now. I started in early 2021. And my background is in corporate investment banking, which I did for roughly 5 years. And then I wanted to get into something more exciting, so I found myself with Manindra and Tokenizer. So happy to be here with you guys today, and let's get into it.
That's great. That's great. So we have collected during the preparation of the AMA some questions from our use from our community. So we'll go ahead with the question already fill out from the form, and then we invite you to ask any question during the chat. It can be on all lives between YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other paid channels actually. So we invite you to move your question to the chat, and we will answer later on after the presentation on the community question. Okay, so I can move to the next slide. And yep, one of the questions basically from the community is that we are that there is a bit of non-understanding and a bit of we wanted to give a bit of clarity as well on the block exchange product solution. So I think Benjamin, this is going more for your question as it is more blockchain related and giving the macro aspect of the BlockX network. So can you just briefly describe each aspect of our product suite?
Okay. Basically, we can start with digital identity. For the digital identity, yeah, basically, we put the identities to the blockchain, like your KYC status, or if you're an accredited investor or not. Um, you can we can also put not only individual identities but even corporate identities. So we can put blacklist or whitelisting status as well in the blockchain, so we can know, for example, if you're a service provider and you want to restrict a
Um,
certain organization or
yeah,
certain addresses. Pardon?
yeah. No, sorry, my bad. Actually, some settings.
Okay, so it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, so basically, if for service providers and you want to restrict certain organization or certain addresses, you can restrict them to invest or be serviced on. So for digital wallet, because obviously you're going to have your assets, your crypto assets in the blockchain, you need to have a digital wallet for you to be able to see your data. Now, there are several wallets out there, like MetaMask, the web browser ones. But since we have our own network, BlockX is its own network. It's not
You need to have a digital
tied.
wallet to be able to see your data. Now, there are several
Sorry, I think
wallets
there's
out
some
there.
feedback. Okay. Yeah, I think there's a feedback. My apologies for that. Um, for yeah, again, for the digital wallet, we do have our own network. BlockX is its own network. We're not tied for Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum. So we're planning to have our own network. So you can still use MetaMask and other browser extension wallets, but obviously, if you want to offer more services, we need to have our own digital wallet as well, so we can provide more options for our users. Okay, for the smart chain compliance, this is also related to what I said earlier regarding the identity, digital identity. For these compliances, we can put business rules in the smart contract. So, um, so basically, it's tied to the digital identity because we can put the compliance as well, whether or not you're allowed to invest on something. So that's the compliance part. For the marketplace, this is more of like NFT marketplace, trading or issuance of tokens as well. But mostly, I think some of you have seen NFT marketplaces out there because they're very famous right now. That's also part of our roadmap within the BlockX because we do have our own network. We can also offer services related to these NFT marketplaces. And maybe in the future, not only for NFTs, if ever there's a service out there, digital service out there that's aligned with our goal, and we can also offer it as a marketplace. For the secondary exchange, yes, because we're going to have our own network, then yes, we're going to have our own decentralized exchange out there as well, or centralized exchange for trading purposes, because we cannot rely on exchanges in the Binance Smart Chain anymore or Ethereum. Since we have our own network, we need to have our own trading system, trading platform there as well. For the asset tokenization, this is yeah, it's like digitizing your asset. Like for example, if you have like a hotel or a building, and you want to create tokens, and you're going to use the hotel or a building as a like an asset-backed token. So meaning there's an underlying asset that provides value to the token. So the advantage of this is that it's easy for you to trade or transfer an ownership of your asset, because yeah, you can just simply transfer them as token as opposed to having like a piece of paper that you have to sign, and obviously you cannot split them up to hundreds of users easily. So this one, we're going to make things easier for making it liquid in financial terms. Yeah, I think that's it for this slide.
Yeah, got it, got it. And actually, this has been yeah, the full combative. I wanted to advance a question, actually, that it's connecting as well between all the products, all the products that you just mentioned. That who is the primary customer target, other the governments, business, and private customers? So,
Okay, so yeah, the question from the community. Primary customer target. Mostly we're going to partner with some KYC providers as well. If you're familiar with with some KYCs out there. Even our own investing platform right now also has a block path in it, but we're open to partnership with several other KYC providers. So our partnership or our target customers, not just corporate users or regular user. We want to partner with organizations, financial institutions that will going to provide digital banking to our users as well. So it's like we're connecting decentralized finance with centralized finance as well. So that's why it's important for us to have KYC services, compliance services, because we're going to offer centralized finance in the BlockX network as well.
That's great. I wanted to mention this third question. So as we said, basically asset tokenization is on the main development side. So and as the use case of BlockX, there is the first step that is actually on a staging live, and it's Tokenizer. And I think Seth, you are the best person over here to explain what Tokenizer is and which is the mission and what is Tokenizer allowing.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, Tokenizer is the infrastructure of the emerging tokenized asset ecosystem. And what we mean by that is there's a new wave of what we call tokenization, and it's basically bridging private market securities and making them more available to everyday investors and making them more liquid. So it's tackling a few core issues that we have with private market securities now, which is illiquidity. So like Benjamin was talking about before, we're going to have a secondary marketplace. So if you have these security tokens that represent different private assets or public assets, they would be tradable on our Tokenizer exchange. So essentially what we do is we would take the issuance of a fund. So as you can see in the slide, this ranges anywhere from real estate, venture capital, hedge funds. We tokenize the ownership interests in that fund. So we would raise capital from accredited investors and other individuals or corporates and funds. And then those investors would receive security tokens that represent their ownership interest in that fund. And then those tokens are directly backed by that asset, obviously. And then they're tradable on a secondary exchange. So really what Tokenizer is, we have the structuring, issuance, and a marketplace for asset-backed tokens. And we're also offering a full-service digital banking. So you can store and manage your digital assets. And we have a partnership now with mBank to construct that. So I think that covers what we need for this point. We can get more into it a little bit later.
Yeah, actually, I mean, the next question would be about the offerings.
Sure.
Actually, we got many interested question and investor registration on all the offerings. So yeah, that was actually one of the main question. And
Okay.
which type of offerings is Tokenizer offering? And thanks to the BlockX Network.
Yeah. So we have a few offerings, a little bit over 10 right now, actually, on the Tokenizer platform. So if you wanted to take a look at them, you can log into Tokenizer. So we have a few hedge funds, a few venture capital opportunities. We're also getting into, here's a couple right here. So the Surefire Buffer Note is a little bit more specialized, but it's a great opportunity from what we've seen. And we're also getting into some real estate offerings. Really, the sky's the limit, and there's endless opportunities in what we can list on our platform right now. The way we see it, and this is McKinsey estimated that the market by 2025 will be $11 trillion for security tokens. So what I always say is that tokenization is something that we kind of are all expecting to happen in the near future. Near future meaning the next 5-ish years, but it needs to become a more accepted term, just like blockchain and cryptocurrencies are accepted nowadays as buzzwords. I'm sure some of you guys remember a few years ago, blockchain was kind of a dirty word and no one really knew what it meant and it wasn't really accepted. Now it is, and now cryptocurrencies are also accepted, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now they're all getting major allocations from traditional investment managers. So soon enough, in my opinion, and also the rest of the team's opinion, security tokens are also going to take over and become a major buzzword in the coming years.
Yeah, like seems like blockchain was before, and now it's the turn of security tokens. And
Yeah.
every research and public
Right.
information.
And so, I mean, moving this back to BlockX and how it relates to Tokenizer, there isn't a chain right now that's focused on security token offerings and digital asset securities, like Benjamin was talking about before. So really what we see as the main advantage with BlockX is this is the primary focus right now. And as you can see, the first use case in Tokenizer, we have real use cases and real listings on Tokenizer. And this is all thanks to BlockX. So it's really exciting as a layer one chain to have something, a new focus is what I can say. So we're focusing on something else other than what other layer ones are focusing on. So it's very exciting.
And just introduce it as well. Another, one of the next question about almost offerings is like, which types of asset is business development focusing in terms of futuristic work, as you say, the long-term vision?
The long-term vision of, say it one more time, sorry.
Sorry, the futuristic vision of the offerings that Tokenizer is incorporating.
Yeah.
Business development, which primary markets is taking, which primary markets is focusing on.
Yeah, so really we want to bring the opportunities of private market securities to more people. And the vision, the idea is that you can log into your Tokenizer account, and you'll have a list of the digital security tokens that you own, and you can invest in a hedge fund, venture capital fund, all on one platform, and also trade those on one platform. So that's the vision down the road, to have a diverse portfolio of security token offerings within our platform that are also tradable.
Yeah, and just a question from our users, like, tokenization sounds like converting a physical assets to digital. Sounds like NFT.
Well, I mean, private market securities aren't physical, right? I mean, there's ownership that's just on a piece of paper. It's so when putting on the blockchain and making it digital, it's really just making it more effective and scalable. So I mean, if you're talking about converting a physical asset to digital, that's not really what it is. It's just putting it on chain and making it more accessible and easier to use. So instead of a stack of papers that represent your ownership in your LP ownership in a venture capital fund, for example, you'll have a security token that has a smart contract that represents that ownership. And same with real estate. If you invest in real estate, you don't like the physical real estate it's the same whether it's on chain or not on chain. It's just how the ownership is represented.
True, absolutely true. So in all this, the fact that Tokenizer is enabled by BlockX, it implies that BlockX has a native token, a utility token for the moment, and which Benjamin can illustrate has the use of the BCX token and how they enter actually the Tokenizer ecosystem as well.
Okay. Well, this is actually in relation to the question of Stephen regarding the scalability and transaction cost benefits. So BCX or BlockX is an ecosystem in itself. So yeah, it's a layer one protocol. One of the if you're going to check the benefits over Ethereum, one is that it's way cheaper because definitely the cost of the token is cheap as well. So it's like you're like 1,000 times cheaper than Ethereum. So your gas fee will also be 1,000 times cheaper. It will also be faster than Ethereum. I think some can say that Binance BSC network is also faster than Ethereum. So same thing with what we're trying to build here. Um, with Polkadot, it's also the same way wherein Polkadot is creating their own network of chains like parachains. So what we're also, it's the same as what we're doing actually. So yeah, basically the end result will also be the same. It's just a matter of what services are you going to offer within your ecosystem. So when it comes to BlockX, BlockX ecosystem is more of like a connection of different chains. One is a smart chain it's in its own. Uh, you can have it like the Binance Smart Chain. So we can have our own BlockX Smart Chain as well, which you can use to connect to your MetaMask or other um, browser extension wallets. So this will mean that the gas fees will also be BCX. Um, so no need for you to buy the expensive Ethereum or BNB for transacting or like basically transferring tokens. All you have to pay for is BCX for the transfer, and it will be very cheap. So the some of the uses would be, of course, we're going to have our own exchange there as well. So the block rewards for the block rewards because we're going to have our own set of validators and delegators. If you're familiar with delegated proof of stake or DPoS, basically the validators are the one who are maintaining the nodes. Like they're the major stakers of the network. They're the ones responsible to making the network as stable as possible, and as they're the ones who are getting the gas fees as well. So, but of course, if you're not technically savvy enough to be a validator, or you don't have, or you can't maintain a big server, or not really a big server, but more of like a node that will going to run the server of Tokenizer or the BlockX. You can also be a delegator. A delegator is like you do have a bunch of tokens of BCX, and then you're going to delegate some of your tokens, or maybe all, it's up to you, to a certain validator. And then the earnings, like the gas fees, will going to be shared on the delegators. So basically, if one of us is, or let's say if I'm owning the a validator, and then you delegated your tokens to me, whatever gas fees or rewards that I earn will also be shared to my delegator, to the tokens delegated to me. So yeah, so that's basically the block and rewards. The staking delegating is the one that I mentioned earlier as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the what BlockX is all about. But just think of it like an ecosystem, and it can have multiple chains. It's not just a smart chain. It can have several chains. So definitely, we're going to have bridges as well for you to be able to transfer your token from one chain to another. So that would be part of the services that we're going to offer. Uh, Same thing with things that I mentioned earlier, like the marketplace. Yeah,
Great.
that's it, David.
Yeah, yeah. There might be some delay in between the folks. So let's go quickly, actually, because we're kind of running out of time. On the questions, on some Q&As that we didn't read throughout until now. Yeah, they're asking for the mainnet. So how developed is your mainnet unless you will able to launch and list in Q1 2022? You
Oh yeah, definitely we're going to launch testnet first. We cannot go to the mainnet right away. We need to have a rigorous test of the number of users that we can handle, or the number of transactions as well concurrently. So I can say that the quarter 1 2022 could be a testnet launch rather than a mainnet. But of course, um, we're not putting a hard deadline here. If we can speed up things, or we found that the testnet is running okay and then no bugs are found, then of course we can switch it up. We switch it up to mainnet.
absolutely, and as well, we should have separate the two topics within the testnet, the mainnet, and the listing of the token. Is at the end,
That's right.
we are separating the three aspects. I mean, testnet first, listing first, testnet as well enabled, and then going for the mainnet. As well, I would recommend to visit our website, in which between the token say link there is all the description and details within our roadmap, our team, the use cases, and much more information around the community as well. So another question that I think between me and Sad we can answer, I don't think we almost kind of answer it as well during the AMA so far. Which current partnership and with who do we have? So maybe Sad, you want to go on for Tokenizer, and I proceed with BlockX.
Oh,
We can-
yeah, sure. So we have a few partnerships. The ones that we've had have released, I guess I should say, is the mBank partnership. And if you go on any of our socials, you can find that statement of us building a DeFi banking platform in partnership with mBank. Benjamin touched on a few of our third-party partners for KYC, etc. We have partnerships with the funds and fund managers that we are listing with. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but if you're interested, you can reach out to me or go on the website. And I'll send it back to Davide about the partnerships that we have with BlockX.
Yeah, definitely. On BlockX, I mean, we do have partnership with some higher launchpads, on which we are actually already announcements, and which there will be future announcement in the months of December and January, and obviously from the marketing point as well, in which we are partnering with one of the big agency, IBC. On which we're working close to close since more than 2 months from now. So there will be other partnership unupdated by the end of December, between the end of December and January, and more as well to announce later on. So let me see. And the questions. How many nodes do you have on BlockX now? Maybe we can take it as well on how would be the process for the delegator and validators to join on, and the fact that we're currently accepting onboarding. Ben, you would like to give some details?
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if it's good for us to say it right now, like the ongoing partnerships. But we do have, but current nodes, I can say that it's still less than 5. Because technically you can run these nodes by just having 2 nodes. But we're also developing what do you call this, like a block explorer. If you're familiar with BSC scan or Ether scan, but this time around, it will also display the validators and the delegators. So we're working on that part, and we're partnering up with another provider, and they're also establishing a node for that matter, because of course they need to have a full set of the blockchain history in order for them to be able to display all those transactions data. So yeah, it's still very few, but if you're interested in becoming a node or validators and delegators, feel free to reach out. But soon we're also going to announce the step-by-step procedure on how to establish one. But right now we're still working on it. Yeah, that's it, David.
Yeah, great, great, good. Yeah, that's great. I think okay. I think we ended. Yeah, actually, we ended our question. We will make for sure a recap of our AMA. So be sure to read the recap through our media channels, and it will be shared as well on our social channels. And want to thank you guys, Sad, Benjamin, for yeah. I just noticed one more questions from Mark P. Yeah, let's answer the last question and then we go to the thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can answer this one. You don't actually need a mining hardware for this, since it is a proof of stake or more of like a DPoS or delegated proof of stake. The mining part is more of a proof of work kind of system. So all you need to do is to have a server by maintaining a node. And of course, you need to have a certain amount of balance. You need to hold a certain amount of BCX in your node in order for you to be able to stake your tokens. So yeah, that's the mining part, but it's not really the mining hardware kind of thing. It can be any server or computer device that you have. Yeah, that's it, David.
Yeah. First question from John. Will we be able to use BlockX list our own properties? I think he's referring to list like a real estate house, its own property to the network. It's maybe with this go more on Tokenizer or listing on the marketplace as an offering.
Yeah, I guess the answer would be yes. It would be through Tokenizer, powered by BlockX, depending on the property. If it's a residential home, likely not. That's probably much further down the road, and I don't think that's something that Tokenizer will be getting involved in. But if it's a commercial property of some sort, that's definitely something we can look into. So if you want to reach out to me directly, we can definitely discuss that.
That's great. And as well, there is first question from AMI on commenting on talking about which difficulties and challenges for each department are we having? Are you guys having?
I'll go first. I think I kind of touched on this before, but the idea of tokenization being an accepted word and an accepted practice is definitely the largest challenge that we have right now. I think issuers are more keen to list their assets on Tokenizer and tokenize their assets than investors are to invest right now. But I think it's going to take a large name, or not even a large name, but a decent amount of people to start investing in tokenization projects in order for the word to get out and for people to get comfortable with it. And once they start utilizing tokenization, then they'll understand the major benefits that it has. So that's definitely the major challenge right now. There are security tokens on the market that are trading and have seen major success. That number is very limited right now, but soon enough, I think we'll see that explode. In terms of BlockX, I'll let Benjamin answer that.
Yeah, basically in the BlockX part or the blockchain part, it's more of like getting the right technology to be put in place. Because as you know, as we all know, blockchain is still a new system, new technology. So a lot of things are is still, let's say, not into full circle yet, not matured enough yet. Even the programming language, actually, they keep on releasing updates from time to time, every few months. And you need to keep track of all those changes, and you need to find a solution for you to be able to provide all the services that we as a company would like to offer to our customers. And since we're creating our own chain here, we're not just creating a smart contract within the Binance network or Ethereum network. We need to be as innovative as possible, but still remain true to the capabilities of the current technology. And that's actually we sometimes find out that some of the features are not possible, or let's say not possible yet, but of course maybe next year, or as we go along, we'll find out that another provider is using this kind of technology, then we can add those things up. So yeah, so in my case, that's the difficulty that we're having right now.
Okay, that's great. I think this time we got to the end of our Q&As. And anyways, the if further question will be added to the live, we can still see them and answer them for the live chat. And as well, feel free to contact us through our contact bar on the website, or as well through set@tokenizer.cc in case you want to contact directly with set. And as well, throughout our community channels, such as Telegram or Discord. Basically, we're gonna get you in contact on whatever touch point. So thanks for being here, and thank you, Seth. Thank you, Benjamin. Really appreciate your insights and openness to the community. Yeah, just to remind, we are, throughout the token sale, throughout the BlockXNet.com website, token sale is live. Our community is constantly growing, so I really suggest you to stay updated and join our community. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.